Well, there's been a sharp rise in anti-Semitic crime since Hamas's October 7th attacks 2 years ago and Israel's response. And offences against Muslims are also on the rise. Figures released to ThreeNews under the Official Information Act show in the 2 years leading up to October 7, there were 9 and then 20 anti-Semitic offences. But after the attack and the Israeli government's response, the numbers rose to 133 last year and 97 this year. In that same time, the number of anti-Muslim offences rose from 131 to 157. In the 2 years before October 7th, there were no recorded anti-Semitic assaults, but there have been 15 in each of the 2 years since. Anti-Semitic offences that harm or endanger persons rose from 4 in the 2 years before October 7th to 43 and 45 in the 2 years since. And property damage has spiked too. Adam Hollingworth with this exclusive report.
It's half a world away, but what happens in the Middle East has consequences everywhere, particularly since Hamas attacked Israel on October the 7th, 2023, leading to 1,200 deaths, and Israel launched its war on Gaza at a cost of around 70,000 lives.
I do think that Jewish people in New Zealand are being held responsible for the perceived or real actions of the Israeli government. And of course, that's wrong in the same way that it's wrong to hold any community in New Zealand responsible for the actions of a foreign government.
The stats show that what was a problem before October the 7th is now much bigger. More of New Zealand's Jewish community of around 10,000 are being intimidated, assaulted and their homes targeted.
There have been assaults, some of which have happened in schools. There have been some physical attacks on properties, so, community-owned properties, so that might be graffiti, it might be arson, it might be smashing a window. There's certainly a lot of verbal assaults, whether that's in person or online, people receiving hate mail.
The Jewish Council shared recent examples of the kind of hate that's out there. There's stuff scrawled on walls, on postcards, the target in this case was a Holocaust survivor, stuff scrawled online too. From the beginning of 2023, the number of anti-Semitic offences goes along at no more than 3 a month. Then October the 7th happens and the numbers grow, and they grow again in November, and they haven't really recovered to the previous levels since. The Israeli government has accused opponents of its war in Gaza of anti-Semitism. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu did it in his speech to the United Nations.
Anti-Semitism dies hard. In fact, it doesn't die at all. It just keeps coming back with its libelous lies, refurbished, regurgitated over and over again.
Auckland restaurant owner Yael Shochat is an Israeli-born Jew who's a member of Dayenu, New Zealand Jews Against Occupation. She's pro-Palestine. She condemns anti-Semitism, but points out people can be anti-Israel without being anti-Semitic.
We need to stop connecting Israel and Judaism. I'd love all Jews to stand with their beautiful Jewish values and less with the Jewish state, and that would not only be good for their Jewish soul, but also for their safety.
Shochat says by describing opponents of its war as anti-Semitic, Israel is actually endangering Jews everywhere.
Anti-Semitism is racism, like all racism, and we need to confront it. But Israel needs to stop its actions, appalling actions against Palestinians, but it also needs to stop using Jews all over the world as shields. It needs to stop saying that it's acting on our behalf and in our name, because that is putting Jews in danger.
But it's not just Jewish people who are being targeted. Muslims too are the victims of more crime.
It's deeply concerning, right? Because those stats reflect that we have certain members of our communities that are unsafe. This is a global trend, unfortunately, and we are on par with that. We are no longer different as New Zealanders. So it is concerning. It's something that we need to do something about.
This, despite Jacinda Ardern's famous speech on inclusivity.
They are us.
After the 2019 mosque attacks.
And clearly, they suffered a terrible, terrible atrocity back in 2019. and it's awful to see that they continue to be subjected to hate and persecution as well.
Both communities emphasise the need to grow back trust to make sure people from all backgrounds feel safe in New Zealand.